Today, I want to talk about how to break the pattern of fear of changes. And when we talk about changes, it usually correlates to many good things as a new potential. And after we make that adjustment, it will become a new habit. But have you ever been to the situation where before you get into that new changes, you're starting to hesitate? Or have you ever had one of those situations where you actually kickstarted that new changes, like for example for a couple of days, a week, or a month, but it's starting to get pretty difficult and you eventually have to get back to where you just started because you just can't really practice that new changes long enough for it to become a habit? Well, let me tell you, this is the pattern that I wanted to talk about today. So I just basically write out this diagram. The diagram is very simple. At first, we wanted to start some new changes, so we started to do it, and we feel pretty good. But then our brain started to signal us that, hey, this feels a little bit off. It's not what we're used to. And then I started to feel uncomfortable because of I'm missing the old way, and I started to have doubts. I'm telling myself that maybe I can just never do this right. And this is actually the subconscious mind trying to tell us that, hey, let's go back to what we're so familiar with. And then we eventually listen to our subconscious mind because we just naturally don't like discomfort. And then we go back to the old us and start the whole cycle again, feeling like we wanted to make some new changes, starting to feel good again, but then it never lasts long. So what does this old pattern lead us to? It basically leads us to no progress, a lot of discouragement, and a message that we tell ourselves that we can't do anything right. That's not what we want. But by the time that you look at this diagram, congratulations, you already made your first huge step. Knowing us better, knowing where we're at, and knowing these cycles, this is actually a great step because we're starting to separate from the old pattern. So after the recognitions, after the separations, what we could actually do? Well, if we look at the diagram again, we notice that things start to take a turn right after we feel good. After we feel good, our brain starts to tell ourselves that, hey, this feels a little bit different. So the key thing is here, how do we not fall into that pattern again? And I think my biggest takeaway would be expanding the good feeling. Just think about another situation with me. Have you ever gone into one of those experiences where you originally feel very, very scared about doing something? Maybe let's say a public speaking, but you have something interesting, a strong message that you really want to share with the audience. And you eventually did it. You did the public speaking. You got a lot of applauses and respects. And you're starting to tell yourself that, hey, this is actually not very bad. And that good feeling, I want us to remind these feelings over and over again whenever we encounter something new. Because that's actually a huge encouragement. And that's the feeling that we should tell ourselves that when we decided to do something new, a good thing's gonna happen, just like that one old time. As we practice over and over again, that one good feelings become two good feelings, and then it eventually become 10 times. And you're starting to recognize that, hey, new changes and new opportunity, they're not bad at all. And as soon as you realize it, you probably already become a master of trying out new things. After all, we just need to remind ourselves that this is just a mind game, and we could always win. Bye-bye.